Hello my friends, family, esteemed colleagues. Frequently I'm now being reminded to make a video about meningitis or meningitis, as Americans would say. Even though I wrote an article about it, but many people do not want to read, they just want to watch. So here we go. Meningitis or meningitis, what is that? It's, as it says, it's inflammation, and it's inflammation of meninges. What is meninges? It's a fine membrane that covers the brain. What is the purpose of this organ or tissue? It serves to filter the blood, not permitting larger particles to penetrate through, not even red blood cell. So the blood from the heart will go to meninges, up to meninges, and then it returns back to the heart. And what in meninges happens, that passes through it only smaller particles like plasma with platelets, with some white cells, white blood cells, but basically carries the electricity, minerals go through, and which is energy, and oxygen. So this will penetrate, this will go through, which we call lymph. So the lymph is going to go through, and this is why brain is basically fed through lymphatic system, through lymph that comes from meninges, and this is why brain is white, is not red, because there is not red blood cells in there. And this meninges can become inflamed. And what is inflammation? Inflammation is when there is increased pressure in particular tissue, because that tissue is inflamed or that organ is inflamed. In this case, meninges got inflamed because the pressure has increased in them. Now the mechanism of increasing the pressure goes through release of some markers, we can call them hormones. In this case would be vasopressin and histamine. And what they do, they contract blood vessels in the area. So when you constrict them, there is a smaller flow through it, which means the backup pressure in artery from the heart, between heart and meninges, will increase because the orifice on the end is squeezed like a garden hose. You squeeze the end, the back pressure is going to increase, and then the water will squirt further, and approximately same amount will still reach the area, but under higher stream because it goes through a smaller orifice. Well, this happens in inflammation. The blood vessels constrict, artery constricts, and now you get still the same amount of blood going through, but under higher pressure. Why is this important? It's not important. But what is important, that also vein in the same area will constrict. So the orifice of outgoing blood is going to constrict. So the flow of outgoing blood is going to be much slower. So you will fill the meninges with the blood much faster than it can flow away. And this will increase the pressure in the meninges, and when the pressure becomes equally high as in the artery, then the same amount of blood that goes in will go out, but the organ in this case meninges, remains pressurized. Now, why would the body want to pressurize particular organ? In most cases, the reason is because the cells of this organ need more plasma. They are not hydrated well. And they need to either cleanse or they have to produce something, so they need plasma. Like in the case of prostate, they need to produce lubricant, so they need to receive more plasma. And if they are not receiving the adequate amount of plasma, then the override happens, the inflammation occurs to force under higher pressure plasma, lymph or plasma being squirted into the cell. Now, why does this doesn't happen on regular basis, but only sometimes and only in some organs? And some people never have inflammation, or not that would bother them, because when inflammation occurs, well, we call it inflammation because it inflames, it enlarges the organ, it increases the pressure on the sensory nerve and it starts hurting. And this is what causes pain. This is the most common cause of chronic pain, is inflammation of different parts of the body, different organs, different tissues. Now, when we are talking about the meninges and meningitis, well, why it had to occur? Not everybody has meningitis. I never had one, and never will. Well, we know that when blood is toxic, the cells naturally are going to try to prevent the toxins coming inside of the cell, and they are going to contract a little bit, constrict, minimize the openings of their membranes, so this way the toxin doesn't penetrate inside of the cell. Cell still needs hydration, so it is not going to close the door completely and die. It will leave it open, but depending on the level of toxicity or the strength of a toxin itself, this is how cells are going to react, and this is how much they will squeeze, and they will make it more difficult even for plasma to penetrate into the cell. And cells also in this state cannot cleanse, so they cannot release their metabolic garbage to be eliminated from the cell and then from the body and filtered out. So the reason why meninges becomes inflamed is because the cells of meninges require hydration and they are not getting it because blood was toxic, and the meninges cells were staying in crouched position, closed, not receiving enough plasma to hydrate and to cleanse. Because number one, what happens when we receive plasma, we cleanse. And when there is nothing to cleanse, then we can raise the plasma level, hydrate. Well, if blood was toxic, the meninges, the cells of meninges are going to become, in time, they will become dehydrated. Now, what can cause this blood toxicity and why meninges? Well, brain is a huge user of energy and oxygen. And because of it, it has big blood delivery. not only into meninges directly, but also in the scalp, upper part, because there are a lot of blood vessels to control the temperature. When it's hot, they cool it off. When it's cold, they will warm it up. And then you have the energetic thing. A lot of electricity, a lot of energy has to be supplied to brain. Brain is the biggest user of electricity, of energy. And when blood is toxic, the toxins serve as resistors. The more toxic is the blood, the slower is the flow of electricity. And when brain is not receiving enough energy, well, what do we feel? We feel tired. We cannot concentrate. We want to sleep. But then we cannot sleep because body wants to cleanse. So we start feeling irritated. Now, what are the symptoms of meningitis? We know that it's usually happening in children. From newborns up to 5 years, this is the most critical time. And then again in teenagers or college level in United States, those children, and soldiers, again, young men, women, young people. Now, why? What makes the blood that toxic that is going to, and chronically, so it's something that is remaining. It's not you eat something toxic and body then cleanses it out and toxicity goes away and everything is fine. Something is there keeping the blood toxic. Well, we know one thing. The more dehydrated is the blood, the lower the level of blood plasma, the less will body be willing to get rid of some of the blood plasma through urination or sweating, even defecation. It's holding on it. So we get constipated. We don't urinate often, and when we do urinate, the urine is darker and stinkier, and we don't even sweat so much because body is holding on its bodily fluid, which is plasma. It's water with minerals, ionic state of water, electroconductive state of water. So all these people have to have dehydrated blood, because if there would be enough blood plasma, body would be cleansing. If it's slowing down on cleansing, holding more liquid, holding longer urine, making it darker, making it more toxic, this affects also kidneys. We start having kidney problems because in glomerular, the toxic liquid, toxic urine is sitting longer. Body is not releasing so much because it's trying to save on plasma and tries to eliminate, filter as much without releasing. So it doesn't, because urine is your blood plasma. You urinate, I don't know, pint of urine, you have 1 pint less blood in your system. You still have the same amount of blood cells, but you don't have the plasma. Blood is becoming denser, heavier. And because it is not cleansing, slowly even blood becomes more toxic, and it starts offloading toxins in a tissue. Well, one of the tissue is going to be also meninges. And because meningitis is receiving a lot of blood, 1/3 of all the blood of the body goes into the brain. Huge amount of blood. Of course, it is going to be affecting that if blood is toxic, a lot of toxins come there. And if you check my video on migraine, headaches, well, this is it. You may be in persistent state of low inflammation, which is allowing, under a little higher pressure, of dealing the meninges with the situation. But then if your blood pressure increases, on top of the already slightly inflamed meninges, overall the pressure on sensory nerve in meninges increases, and you easily get headaches, migraines, because you have permanently inflamed meninges. You have meningitis, but low level. Now, how come that all of a sudden you can have, especially in young children, and in those groups I have mentioned, students and military, you have this sudden fever, okay? Symptoms of people with meningitis. Fever. Wow. Why would inflamed meninge produce fever? Fever is a symptom of toxic blood. When body is trying to resolve the situation by raising a temperature, trying to shift the frequency, and trying to induce sweating to eliminate toxins from the blood. After that, you feel better. After you sweat, you feel better because toxins are out. One level of toxicity. It's dropping, affecting you less, and inflammation goes down a little bit, headache goes away. Feeling tired. Well, blood is toxic, less energy flows. Nausea. Well, body is trying to eliminate toxins by producing toxic mucus, so throwing the toxins from the blood into the mucus and getting it out. And when this mucus, it could come in the form of saliva, it could come in the form of mucus forming in the stomach itself, or mucus also affecting your intestines. And what happens? You get nausea, you want to vomit, you get diarrhea. You may even form mucus in your lungs, and you start having phlegm. All this can happen in meningitis. Now, where the hell, little babies? I can understand in old people, but we don't see this in old people. We see this in young people. So, what is going to give these symptoms of toxic blood that is blamed on meningitis? Meningitis is a symptom. We say, oh, bacteria, they take your blood. Why is the meninges inflamed? They take your blood. If they find bacteria, bingo, we got it. Bacteria is, if they find fungus, oh, we got it, fungus. If they don't find any of them, it's virus. Something had to be, so must be. Zumzula. We cannot mention things by name because you mention more than once and video disappears. So, Zumzula. So, what are they telling us? Well, if you have meningitis, you haven't been zumzulated enough. Well, is that so? How come that we find meningitis in young kids after they have received like 20, 30 of protections? How come we find meningitis in students who are required to have all the protections. If they did not receive them when they were kids, they receive them now. And same goes for military personnel. They all have to be protected, okay? Zumzulated against zumzulas. How come that finding meningitis in Amish children is rarity, doesn't exist? They have not been zumzulated. What our experts of medicine are telling us okay, what are telling us about risk factors? Who is under highest risk of developing meningitis? Those who were not zumzulated with all the zumzulitas they are supposed to receive as a children. Oh yeah? And then of course they say the viral can be in the age of young kids, and then bacterial and fungal in older people. Well, what do we know? We know that bacteria and fungus normally should not be living in the body. And when they do, they are actually not attacking our cells, because our cells have high electric voltage. So it will be like biting into battery, but they can only feed on garbage. More toxic the blood is, the more possibility is there that we are going to have some bacteria or fungus living and munching on this stuff. And because we have agreed, the bug theory of diseases being caused by invaders. This theory got Nobel Prize for it. Okay, so it was drilled in scientific brains that this is absolute proof. Nobel Prize was given. Oh, it's a stamp. This is the truth. Germ theory is fact. There's no way around. It's the biggest baloney there is. Nothing is correct about the germ theory. Nothing. It's false. This is why I got Nobel Prize. Just to stamp it up in the brain. You see how important this discovery was. It's all about germs. Well, yeah, if you are brainwashed idiot coming out from university, you are being indoctrinated in believing so. Yeah, I'm one of those. But luckily I hated schools, and then I took years of sailing around and airing my head and observing and learning how to think, because we are not taught how to think. We are taught how to memorize and repeat, not how to think. So this changed everything. What I'm trying to show to you, the simple fact that meningitis is directly related to zumzulitis. You just had too many zumzulas. From this also comes autism. From this also come majority of chronic diseases which are now common. Diabetes is one of them. Diabetes 1. When it happens in a young child, there was not enough time to create resistance to insulin. This is installed poison, toxin, that causes diabetes. And it goes through zumzulation. So, we have it now happening in UK, in university. University, rings a bell? Also, just 8 months prior, in fall of last year, there were drills of preparation, how to prepare in a case of some pandemic of meningitis shows up. Isn't it something? Huh? What to do? Well, cleanse the blood. Do not take another Sumsula. Antibiotic, how does it help you? It is so toxic that it makes cells of all your body to tighten up membranes, not to absorb it into the cells, which will then stop normal detox of the cells. If your cells in the body are not releasing their metabolic toxins, your blood toxicity is not going to increase. And when you urinate and defecate and sweat, you are slowly cleansing the blood, making it cleaner, and meningitis goes down. Inflammation goes down. You should take antibiotic in emergency case. High fever, very high fever, seizures, you have to take it. But what are the first signs indicating that meningitis is going to come in babies? Symptoms of flu. Now, what are symptoms of flu? Check my videos, check my articles. At every end of every video, I have a link to my blog where you can type in a search engine the keyword of what you are interested in, and articles about it will show up. I have, I don't know, 1,500 articles there. There is, I don't know, 500 videos on YouTube. Well, YouTube took a lot of them out, but still plenty of videos are there, and the newer videos, last few years, I have on BitChute and Rumble as well, which were not taken out. Especially about Zumzua and stuff which I have to avoid mentioning on YouTube. Cleanse your blood. Your body is designed to keep the blood clean. For this, it uses blood plasma. So whenever you eat something bad or you create bad emotions and your blood becomes polluted, because it's all about frequency that is not synchronized with frequencies of the body wants to eliminate them, and eliminates them, releasing it into the blood and then cleaning the blood. And this is why we have seasonal flu, seasonal cleanse. And we are very toxic, otherwise we would not need the seasonal cleanse. It would happen daily, on daily basis. But body needs to have a lot of plasma. Plasma is water and minerals. And it's not only sodium chloride and potassium chloride and magnesium chloride. No, there are 90 minerals involved. And less of the minerals you have, the more it will have to be compensated by what is available. The table salt is a junk salt made basically of sodium chloride. And since we don't have any of the other minerals, the blood has to double up on sodium chloride. So you will have higher level of sodium in your body. Well, as soon as you eat correct salt, the sea salt, because of availability of the other minerals, the level of sodium in the body decreases. You don't believe me? Try it. Eat regular table salt, have your blood tested, and then start taking sea salt, and you will see that sodium levels of our blood are going to go down. And your health is going to go up. Body will be cleansing much better because it has something to do with frequencies. Natural salt, sea salt, those are natural minerals, they are crystals. They are all in their correct frequency. You put them in a toxic body that has bad frequencies, it actually starts retuning itself. Why do shamans use salt to cleanse demons or bad energies? Because of the mineral content of a salt, of crystal. Unless we understand the whole picture and we put the mind, body, and the soul together, we don't know jack squat. So, how does meningitis come from one student to another, from one child to another? Because they have a similar toxicity, and one starts vibrating with vibration of detox. This is a vibration. This is why all the symptoms are just symptoms of this type of vibrating body, with this type of false or off-centered, deformed frequencies. So, if you have all 10 children that have received the same zumzoas, have approximately the same toxicity, and only one went into detox by having inflammation. Inflammation is part of the detox. It's part of the healing process. But it causes pain and causes symptoms. So it starts having all these symptoms. That's a vibration. The vibration is manifested in the auric field around the body. It changes vibration. If another body comes in that has the same toxins and now gets hit by vibration of already cleansing body of the same toxins through same resonation, it's a resonance that spills over and triggers the other body also in detox. Doesn't go through germ, doesn't go through spit, doesn't go through particles in the air. It's electromagnetic resonance. Closer you get to already resonating body, the more you're affected by it. You keep distance, less you will be affected by it. And maybe you're not going to get into the detox. Not everybody has a flu in the flu season. Not everybody goes to detox. And people that don't go to detox, they think that they have very strong immune system, they are healthy, they are protected. No. Your cells are not cleansing. Your cells are not releasing poisons. So your blood is relatively in better shape and the cleansing didn't hit you. This is why vegans, vegetarians, who always have a toxic elements from plants going through the blood and always the cells are closed, they don't cleanse. So they are not affected by flu. And they think, oh, their immune system is strong. Immune system is all based on vibration, on voltage. Higher the voltage, the stronger resilience to shift in vibration you will have in the body. Again, I explain all this. Everything we learn in the school is a lie. You want to know the truth when health is concerned? You check my material. And again, where did I learn it from? There must be books available on particular things of what I'm disclosing. I did not read any of those because I have a faith in a creator. And when I start focusing on a problem and I miss something, I cannot connect, I ask creator to tell me what I'm missing. This is where master appears. This is when the master message comes that allows me to proceed and go deeper. So, everything I'm talking about came from within. And then it was confirmed later by other sources. And soon, others will start confirming what I'm telling you about meningitis. In which way would inflamed meningitis make you feel tired? Why it will make you vomit, or give you diarrhea, or give you fever? It has nothing to do with meningitis. It has to do with toxic blood. That has also in its basic underlying culprit of why your meninges are dehydrated and toxic and are put into the forced hydration, inflammation, which then causes a pain. But when you want to clear this, you cannot do it other than clearing the blood. By cleaning the blood, you are allowing cleaning of the meninges and disappearance of the inflammation. My friends, everything is different than what we have been told. It is actually very simple, but we made medicine so complex and complicated just so the simple things are not visible. How often does it happen that you are looking for pencil and it's right behind your ear? Or those who wear glasses, you are looking for glasses and sometimes you have them right on your nose and you are looking for glasses. Because you do what you have programmed yourself to do. You stick to your programming. Oh, I want to read, I need glasses. Because you know you need them. And if you forget that you already have them, and you want to read something, then you will, okay, I want to read this, where are my glasses? And now right on your nose. Same is with things around you. Once you have been programmed to think particular way, well, you don't think, to regurgitate what was put into your brain, you don't even take time to observe around other possibilities. Because to your ego, other possibilities do not exist except the one that you have been drilled into your brain. Okay, my friends, thank you for listening. I hope it makes sense to you. And again, if you need help with any of this, you can always contact me. And please, if you can, contribute with donating on my page, if you can, and only do it if it's come from heart. Thank you for being here. God bless you. Namaste.